Your emotions are chemical substances. The anger you feel, the love that lives within you, the satisfaction of living, all are controlled by your mind, by your brain. But I would like to ask you a question. Can you control your emotions to the point where you can visualize everything ahead of you, without your vision being blurred by anger or extreme happiness? Can you see your horizon and the possible paths you can take towards your success solely with effective intuition and strengthened reasoning? Because these attitudes are about being cold, due to having the ability to control your emotions and convert their strength only into rationality, and being calculating to see all the paths you can take to achieve your goals. So, in today's video, we will talk about how to be cold and calculating like our beloved character Thomas Shelby from Peaky Blinders. Being cold is the following, and I tell you now so you see that I don't want to beat around the bush. Do you really want to be cold? Do you really want to stop listening to your emotions and become more automatic and rational, putting your mind first and making it your most supreme member? Then I tell you that to reach this level of balance, it is necessary to be hit by life, to truly suffer. Coldness is not achieved by staying in your room eating popcorn and watching TV. Being cold is about venturing into uncertain paths, out of your comfort zone. It's like when you are born, a bubble forms around you, and the shape that this bubble takes depends on the education your parents give you, the culture you live in, religion, and various factors, until there comes a moment around the age of 16 or so when you start to develop a more independent conscience, beginning to analyze that much of what you were taught you do not agree with. At this point, to break out of this bubble that surrounds you, it is necessary to start experiencing certain situations that will take you out of your comfort zone. It's like the old story. If a person spends 10 years sleeping on the floor, and although they had a bed before, when they go back to a bed, they will feel uncomfortable for a certain period of time, and that is completely normal. And after a while, they will not be able to sleep on the floor as before. Many people get used to earning a minimum wage and have no problem with it, until at some point they decide to be more daring and step out of their comfort zone, begin to invest in knowledge, and start to earn much more. Then they realize they like this new lifestyle, and just like sleeping on the floor and getting used to a bed, it takes time. Things do not happen overnight. It might seem like a silly example, but the essence of all things is the same. Discomfort is present in these doubts and new experiences. What I want you to know is that to be cold, one must dive into experiences fearlessly, unafraid of falling, because this is the path life demands of you. Living by falling, learning, falling again, getting up and succeeding, and knowing that you can never be 100% sure of anything, and what you think would never work might end up making sense at some point. Because we are mutable beings, it depends on your personality and essence to know what you really want to do and think. Therefore, being cold means this: stepping out of your comfort zone, taking life's blows, and still pursuing your goals. Being cold is not something you just decide to do. It's not as if you can press a button and all your emotions will disappear. It's not even close to that. Coldness is built, and if you truly want to be cold, you know you'll reach a point where you have total control over your emotions. But this is irreversible because your mind will automate itself to think rationally. So keep in mind, being cold is a path of no return, precisely because coldness is constructed from bad experiences and the suffering you will have in your life. And in this struggle against life, you become more like a rock than water that lets all your emotions flow. Do you understand? As for being calculating, here's what happens. In your life, there will be many moments of choice, and it will be your ability and vision with calculations that will determine the best and most efficient path to take for what you want to achieve. So, being calculating means being able to see various paths and having the clarity to always see the right ones. And how do you achieve this? Once again, it's experience with a touch of vision, something we all can have since we really possess that vision. All that is needed is to stimulate rationality. The need for experience comes from the fact that you can only better analyze your paths after having fallen many times in life. After each fall, there's always a choice, and by learning from these lessons, you will start to analyze your possibilities much better each time, with less chance of making mistakes. So it's not necessary to have a lot of experience to start calculating your moves. Just understand that there isn't just one path, but several other possibilities that can lead you to success and not losses. Now about vision, we all have it. It's just necessary to train this skill. For example, suppose you really want to start making money and decide to start a business, and in the following months, you already make a good profit, good enough to sustain the business and have some money left over. But right at the start of the business, hoping that the next months will increase this profit, you already start wanting to set up a new business, maybe another store of the same kind. And is that wrong? Certainly, because in a calculated way, you could analyze that if a crisis arises, it is this cash surplus that can save the future of your business. So never spend it before more accumulates. Having the vision to become calculating is simply foreseeing not only the benefits you can have, but also the losses. So at any moment, in any situation, you will be prepared because you will have realized what can happen, and therefore overcome any adversity. I decided then to leave Thomas Shelby for the end. What I did so far in the video was to create a base of what coldness and calculating behavior are. And now with these fundamentals, I will bring this analysis of the famous Thomas Shelby, which is as follows. Coldness for Thomas did not only come from the war, or the loss of his mother or any other suffering, but also from the fact that he could do nothing while everything happened, while his mother killed herself, and while he and his brothers went to war. Thomas couldn't control the situations, and this weighed on him as pain. And that's how he became colder and sought control over what he wanted to have by any means necessary. As for being calculating, Thomas began to visualize all the possibilities and opportunities. Also because of this issue, he needed to anticipate any adversity that might arise, because if an obstacle harmed him, he couldn't control the damages. You soon realize that Thomas is someone who needs that control, and for this, he uses coldness and the method of being calculating. After all, if you notice, these two characteristics serve him to have more control over himself and his life. They are like two pieces of a puzzle. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your like and your comment. See you in the next video.